Hello and welcome to another tutorial. My name is Geetee, and for those of you who are on this channel and you have been on my previous channel, thank you and do well to subscribe. My previous channel has been disabled due to a lot of issues I had, so I'm starting up a new channel and I will be glad if you can subscribe to this channel. So on this particular image that we are going to be working on today, this is a dark skin image. Now dark skin come in different shades, and this particular shade, due to contrast added by the camera, because I shot this with a 5D Mark III, is an old image. I just needed to use it to show you what I can do with this particular image. And if you like the image and you want me to drop it, do well to drop a comment, as also make sure you subscribe, because I'll be happy to know that I'm sending some of my images to people that have subscribed to my channel, not people that have not subscribed. So to start up with this image, we are going to come to our exposure. I think for what I'm seeing here, I'm just going to leave the exposure, but I'm going to bring up the shadows a little. Now for those of you that use Lightroom and Photoshop, Camera Raw, you realize that there are some things, there are limits to some things that you could do there, and I feel like those are some of the reasons why some persons really love to use Capture One. Now let's see our before and after so I can explain more. This is the before and this is the after. Now with just a little bit of increase on the shadows, you can see that more light has been added to the image. Now this particular image is looking as if it's seamless because the image was shot very well, but as you can see, this part is having light issues, so I would still bring this down. I don't want my highlights to be all the way down, so I'm going to keep it here. Then I'm going to check if I really need to do anything on the levels. If this level was a little bit this way, I would have wanted to drag this in, but I am going to leave this like this because I am still going to touch this same image in Photoshop. So what I will say here is, if you shoot your image right, it will give you less issues, and you need less time to work on Capture One. So before I move the image, I feel like I can remove some of the reds in the image, so I'll just desaturate the image a little. Yeah, I keep it like this. Then for the orange, I want to bring it a little bit to the red side. Yes, I think this is enough. Then I'll go back to the yellow and do the same, take the yellow to the red side. So let's see our before and our after. So I'm going to go back to the exposure tab and bring the exposure down a little, because I want the image to have a beautiful melanin feel. I'm not going to touch my contrast, but I feel like I should give it about 2. Yes, this is good enough for me. I am going to be trimming the image, so whatever I think, any other thing I think I want to do, I will be doing it in Photoshop. So I am believing that this is good enough for me to take to Photoshop. But let me see if I can bring up the blacks a little. Now when you're pushing your sliders, you must try remember the kind of camera you're using, so you don't push it too much because of the dynamic range of the camera. So I'm going to just right click, take it to Photoshop, where the rest of the magic is going to be done. So I say edit. So this is not a Capture One tutorial where I have to start explaining each of the sliders in Capture One for you. This is a retouching tutorial, and for the fact that my old account has been hacked, I need to drop a new tutorial to start up with, so I am doing a retouching tutorial again. So it's actually loading up Photoshop. I'm using the 2021. Yes, I'm using the 2021. Is this 2021 or 2020? I forgot, but I know Yes, you get your 2022 in 2021. So I believe this is the latest version of Photoshop I'm using. But whatever I'm going to do in any of these tutorials, you can do it in later versions of Photoshop. So it's taking too long to load, probably because the system has been working since morning, but bear with me. I'll try as much as possible to make sure the video is not too long. So bringing the image to Photoshop, one thing I will always do is to crop it to my regular Instagram size, which is the 4x5. I'm going to hold down my C for this option to come up. Then I am going to keep it around here. Then I'm going to say okay. Then it's going to crop it to that size seen there. So at this point, we can see that our image is very sharp and it has less blemishes for us to remove. But I'm going to remove this and remove this. Remember, whenever you're doing things like this, you have to duplicate so you don't run into issues later. And if that happens and you did not duplicate, you would have to start from the beginning. So this is me trying to remove blemishes. So I think I'm done with that, and I am going to go straight into the retouching. Now, because this is a beauty image, this is me seeing this image like a beauty image. I shot it with that idea. This can be used for a hair product, a skin product. These kind of images are the kind of images you shoot for things like that. So I am going to be preserving a lot of details. So I am going to be using the radius 7 on this particular image. So I'm using the ultimate retouch panel. You can search it on Google and you surely get it. I think it's free. So I'm going to use 7. I'm going to say okay. Then I am going to just start using it, and for a while now I've been switching between the sample or layout and without sample or layout. So for this particular image, I'm going to be working with the switching off of the sample or layout, and I'm going to off the texture here. So I am going to start working. I just like turning off my texture because it allows me to see better. So you can see my brush settings, and also if you want to use my brush setting and get same result, then you go ahead. Now these are some of the problems we have while retouching. Things about how you manage your light, and I'm actually having a lot of problem here because of the whole system being slow thing. A lot of us do experience it when our system has been working like for the whole day. So just bear with me as I'm trying as much as possible to rush this tutorial. I don't think I've wasted much time yet, but that's the plan, not wasting the time. So I'm going to brush this. So I'm trying as much as possible to see if at the end of the day I don't lose all the textures on my image. Now let me stop for a minute and explain something to you. As I'm retouching this image, I'm thinking like an artist, so I don't want to paint wrongly. I don't want to paint like this just to destroy the image and the light. So I'm going to be painting in the direction of the light, so the image will not look fake. So by the time I turn on the blur layout, I still have the image in its original state, just better, instead of destroying the whole image. So I'm going to shift this away so I have a lot of room to work. But right now, like I said, my system is a little bit slow, so it's taking much to much time to process what I've already done. And another thing, I'm exporting a file from my Lightroom, so that also is a reason why the system is actually dragging. So as you can see, I'm just going gradually. When I touch some areas, a lot of times I have to go back and touch the other areas also. So for the fact that the system is a little bit slow, it's making me not really enjoy what I'm doing, but I believe we are going somewhere. So this is it. So I am going to turn on my texture layout right now. So before I do that, let me still paint into these areas. So with this done, this is the before and this is the after. This is the before, this is the after. A lot of changes have been done, but I am going to do one more thing for this image, which is me rotating the image. And I am going to duplicate this, then I am going to start painting on the duplicate. I can keep it on and I can keep it off. I prefer keeping it off. It enables me work better. I'm going to do a before and after of working with both. So at this point I am going to rotate. So I did not do much. When I rotated the image, but I am going to paint around the corner of the lip, because without doing that, the retouching is not complete. Yes, I'm going to paint all of that. So the touching of that place is becoming too much, so I'm going to reduce it, and so I don't get to kill the image. So let's check our before and after. Okay. So I'm going to check. So it would be nice if I just take away this part. So I'm going to delete that part. I'm going to delete it because I don't want that part of the lip to look fake. Then I am going to paint again, just paint gradually. So I'm going to merge them all. I think that is it. So we have a nice looking image with all our textures preserved. Then another thing I want to do is I will open a new layout in here. Then I will sample a color, sample this color, and I'm going to bring down my fade, my flow. Then I'm going to paint. I'm painting it in. Then I'm going to blur that. I think that is fine for me. Then I'm going to reduce it. Here is our before, here is our after, so I'm still going to reduce it so I have that light there. So the image is already looking very nice. So at this point, I think I have done what I need to do for this image, and I don't want to start fixing lip and the rest, but I'm going to clean the eyes. I'm going to clean the eyes, make sure the eyes are looking nice and they are popping very well. So I'm going to select this action. If you believe you would want the action also, try and make sure you drop a comment telling me you like me to give you this action. So now for cases like this, I would advise you to duplicate, then fill it up. When it's filled, then you start painting. When you're done painting, reduce your opacity to around 21. Then deselect any area that you're not supposed to select. This is the before, this is the after. So when we zoom in, this you can bring this down to 60. Then this would be how your image is looking like right now. Then we are going to try to add curve. We are going to create a S curve. I'm going to try to create a S curve. So when we create that, the color becomes too much, so we can either bring it down. This is the before, this is the after. I think this works for me. Then we are going to add a little bit of yellow. Just then add 1% of magenta. See if we can reduce the reds a little. Then increase the yellow to mash up the red that we have removed. Then come reduce some of the magenta so that we get something better. Then let's see, we add more yellow. So this is the before, this is the after, before and after. So I don't think a lot was done, just a little. Then we could try and remove the excess red by bringing this up. This is the before, this is the after. So let's go back to the white and see how we could add more white to make the image pop better. Then we'll go to blacks. Let's add -3. Then here we could just bring this in a little. 2% is fine. Then we increase this to 3. I think 3 is too much, we'll give it 2. Then we add a black and white and put the black and white in your soft light. I think this works better, overlay works better for me, so I'm going to bring it down to 10% and try and see if I can touch the sliders and fix. Then I'm going to add a little bit of vibrance, 6% of vibrance. Then I am going to do an overall desaturation of the red. Then I'm going to bring the reds down, then bring the masters down a little. So when we do that, this is what we have at the end of our image. Here is the before, here is the after. This is the before, this is the after. This is the before, this is the after. I know this video was helpful. No need asking me if the video was helpful. I know this video was helpful, so I'm going to advise you to subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up on this video and encourage me to do another amazing content like this. Thank you, and see you in another video.